All right. Well, it's the second week of August, and we finally have some butterflies out here. I've seen a Palamedes. I believe that was a Sacum. Gulf fritillary, orange sulfur, or not orange sulfur, sleepy orange. A couple little things. Plants don't look too much different. Weeds don't look too much different. There's cloudless sulfur. Add that to the list. Yeah, got a lot of bees over here on the Giardia. Let's see. Don't think I see any new evidence of Brazilian skippers, but we do have another leak. It's gotten worse since I've been standing here, so I'm gonna have to fix that before I leave. And yeah, let me see, do we have any monarch activity? It looks like we're getting close to flowers, maybe. Yep. Ooh, we even have buds starting on the butterfly weed. Nice. Oleander aphids seem to be mostly in check. Yeah. Progress. Hey, the Gladiolus Dollini is blooming for some reason. That's weird. Yeah. Plants are looking alright. Oh, let's check the Joe Pye. Not... well, maybe. Yeah, Joe Pye is blooming. They look a bit wilty. I don't know why they look wilty. I don't know, I upped the irrigation schedule to for twice the duration, same frequency, so we'll see if that makes a difference. Everything looks pretty wilty today, but yeah, generally pretty good. Okay, another garden update. It's now whatever it is, 25th of August. Still have not finished weeding. Just coming out here to mow and weed eat, and it looks like we're making progress. I see milkweed flowers. The garden is now open to the public. You can come out here and walk upon the trails and come out here and explore it now. But we've got swamp milkweed flowers. They're blooming, both of them. Cannas are putting out another flush. Giardia is still going strong. Silkopod might be finishing up blooming. It's setting seed like crazy. Starting to fall apart. I'm probably gonna have to come in here and tie it together. Interestingly, since this has been weeded, nothing has really come back up except for the, what do you call it, Bermuda grass? So yeah, actually the weeds seem to be thinning out a lot. So heat's finally getting to them. Swamp sunflower is doing its thing. Ooh, Elate's aster is starting to put out blooms, I think. Or that's some sort of gall, one of the two. Yarrow is still putting out some growth. Same goes for the scarlet sage. Still have some lance leaf coreopsis going. Rudbeckia is about done. Let's see, frostweed. I think we have bloom starting. Hairy leafcup is done. Joe Pye weed appears to be finishing up too. Yeah, looking good. Still not a lot of butterfly activity, but again, it's a weird year. But we do have our sleepy oranges over here. And she is laying eggs. If I can find them. Yep, there's one right there. Sleepy orange egg. Nice. Alright, it's the first week in October. Just wanted to give a quick update. As you can see, the muck sunflowers are exploding. They're in full glory right now. They're probably close to 10 foot tall. Can't talk for long because of rain. But yeah, garden's looking great. Got some more weeding done, all that stuff. I gotta run now. Bye. Alright, it's the end of the season. So it's middle of December now. So I guess I want to do just a quick update and show you what actually did, what actually didn't do, and you know, give you just a quick status update. Sorry I didn't give you more updates in the interim, but you know, things just got in the way. I had other priorities and I kind of neglected the garden a little bit, but it surprisingly, despite all the neglect, did really well. So the reason why I'm out here is it just dawned on me that I have all of this exposed plumbing out here in the field, and it dipped into 30s last night. So I figured I should probably disconnect everything so it doesn't freeze and explode. It looks like I missed it by a little bit or something, or I don't really know what happened, but this brass cap right here I have on this end, it had just like blown out, like the the circle on the inside of this was just laying on the ground. So I think I might have missed it by a little bit, or that was corrosion or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to put a replacement on there. So I just kind of jammed it back in there and screwed it on just to keep the mud daubers and the spiders out. And I've just got it cracked about half the way just so it can bleed air. I have this valve all the way open and pump is off, so it's got plenty of room to expand if it decides to freeze. It's disconnected up there at the pump as well. Did the same for the garden hose over there. And yeah, I'm not really worried about any of the irrigation down here because the soaker hose is one giant air vent, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. All right, let's start on this end. So what did? Well, the Scarlet Sage did awesome. The Guatemalan Indigo did awesome. The Carolina Indigo kind of just floundered. And the Lyre-leaf Sage didn't really take off all that well, kind of surprisingly. Coral Bean came back around. It did all right. So I'm sure that'll come back up. Or at least I hope that'll come back up. The Lance Leaf Coreopsis did fantastic. Black-Eyed Susan did fantastic. Frostweed did fantastic. Hairy Leaf Cup did fantastic. The Joe Pye Weed did better than anticipated. I won't say fantastic, but I think it'll come back. Swamp Sunflowers did exactly what I wanted them to do. Grew about 9 foot tall. So that's what I rely on them to do, so no worries there. Elliot's Aster did pretty good. It's actually still kind of green, so that's neat to see. I wonder if this is back rating off of it or shielding it from the wind or something. I don't know if the milkweed's going to come back. It did all right. It didn't really get to produce many seed pods. I didn't see a second crop of monarchs, but I also wasn't out here enough to say that for certain. The yarrow is suffering, but it's still alive, so it will. You can't kill that stuff. The Chapula River Coreopsis, it flowered for a little bit. Was that over here? No, that's over here. It flowered for a little bit, but it kind of got choked out. And the Golden Maiden Coreopsis did awesome, but we didn't keep it weeded. We need to have some kind of other annual to go alongside that, something that blooms like in October or something. Or some kind of low-growing something that can tolerate being swallowed by the Golden Mane, and that can then pop out in like August and take this back over. I gotta work on the finer details of that. The yarrow did flower too. Let's see, Cannas did awesome, expected that. Thalia, still alive, but it's suffering. I don't think it's going to last. Frog fruit is doing okay. It's spreading slowly, a lot slower than I thought. Scarlet hibiscus did not get all that big. I don't know what it doesn't like, but it didn't like it. Gladiolus did all right. I mean, they're extremely hardy, so no worries there. Golden Alexander, I think, is a total bust. It just kind of got melted by the heat. Let's see. I never saw any... Oh, take that back. There's just a little bit of obedience plant came through. This frostweed came up over here and I left it. Also, I had an elegant gay feather come up from the Liatris I planted, so I left that. I thought it was Liatris spicata, but it was actually Liatris elegans. Over there, that's a seaside goldenrod that I left. And blanking on what was right here. Oh yeah, the ageratum, because it wasn't mistflower. So we're going to have to get some mistflower to put in there in place of the ageratum, because the ageratum did not do well. The ageratum does not tolerate heat as well as the mistflower, and you can see it suffered. Sicklepod did as well as I could have ever expected it to. The rabbit tobacco did not spread very well. That is a that's an annual, so I don't know whether or not that's going to come back, but we can hope. It sure as heck dumped some seeds. Let's see. I think the butterfly weed croaked, so that's disappointing. I think these milkweeds will come back at the very least. I can hope. American Wild Carrot is coming back up, so it's going to be here, and it's going to be here strong next year. Indian grass put out seed, so that's good. That's about as big as they get. Thought I would have got a little bit bigger, but they kind of like drier soils, and I didn't fiddle with the irrigation on this, so you know, that's about what I expected. Cannot remember what I had there. Something. Oh, the phlox. Oh, it's still alive. Woodland phlox, still a little bit left. It's coming back out. And let's see, the Giardia. Giardia did great. Did a little better than I even thought it was going to do. And just like Giardia does, it's still alive in December, and it's getting ready to bloom again in December. That's just how it works here in on Edisto. We got some of that out there in the field too that I'm sure is blooming. There's some of it growing out there. So all in all, I say success. Despite the complete lack of maintenance and like barely little weeding effort, it's doing good. It's doing great. We've lost a considerable volume of compost, but that is to be expected with all of the biotic activity. See, we filled that up like halfway and we're already down. About like half of the compost has already evaporated, been consumed or worked into the soil, but that's what we want. We already have good soil out here. We're just trying to work in this compost to get the biota to just bioturbate it all the way throughout and spread it deeper into the soil because we want it deeper down. We don't necessarily want it on top. So I think for next year, if I can get a proper volunteer effort going to just come out here and weed this and maybe get some like cypress mulch or something to throw down on top of this, I think we can get something really good going. Additionally, the deer fence held up all year. I mean, I'm gonna have to replace it because it seems this 30-pound test is only good for one season. It just starts melting in the UV about this time, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. The deer are gonna get really aggressive in the winter because they're gonna be looking for anything and everything they can eat for calories. So I'm probably gonna have to restring it here shortly. Since this is permanent, I think I'm going to go with the 17 gauge electric fence wire and just do that the whole way around. It's a little bit more visible, but it's a little bit stronger. I don't have to replace it every year. It's worth the investment right now, unless it ends up being a hindrance and the deer start figuring out how tall it is and jumping in here. But I don't think they will because they've got plenty of other stuff to eat. So I think we are okay. All right, so that's the end of 2021. Garden did great. Didn't do awesome, but it did do great. The stuff that took off like a weed. The stuff that didn't take fizzled out and died pretty much, except for a few slight things that were just planted at the wrong time of the year and just kind of got a rough start and weren't able to make it. So I'm looking forward to next year. Not certain how much, effort I'm going to be able to spare towards this because it looks like my workload is just getting heavier and heavier, which is a good thing because it's what I need to be doing. So these kind of side projects are suffering though as a result. So maybe I can get a good volunteer group to come out here and help me with this and just keep on top of it. Okie dokie. So I think this is where we end the video. It is now into March of the following year. Me and Eleanor just got out here yesterday and weeded beds 1, 2, and 3. We got ate up by gnats and ran out of time before we got 4. And I just came out and I replaced that valve right there because it did one of these for some reason. And now it looks like either the poly tubing or the barb fitting is leaking, but it's just a little tiny leak, so we're gonna ignore it. Also, that box is up, unrelated. But yeah, I think that's the end of the pollinator garden for 2021. Do have several gaps that I'm going to have to fill. I did just transplant a bunch of golden mane coreopsis and rabbit tobacco that were growing in the alleys all around the walkway, so those are filled in. But we're going to have to replace the golden Alexander and the blue mist flower. I thought I had been given wild azuratum, but it turns out wild azuratum is actually blue mist flower. So I just had, for some reason, I thought that regular azuratum and wild azuratum were the same thing, and one was just a wild type, but no, blue mist flower is wild azuratum. So I did have the right thing. It just got really stressed and died. There's like one plant coming back up, but we're going to try and harden off some and transplant it in, be a little bit more sensitive with it. I bought another obedient plant. There's some of it coming back. You can see that one right there. But I'm going to get in a much more vigorous plant that's been from a nursery. Drop that in there. And yeah, everything in this bed's doing all right, except the lyre leaf sage has moved from here to there, which is not what I wanted. So we may have to move that back. Golden Alexander is gone. It looks like the common self-heal is also gone. The milkweed is coming back, but we had a hard frost in mid-March and it burnt a lot of stuff, so those got hit. I'm leaving a couple of weeds over here where the golden Alexander is, just to try and fill in the gaps a bit. I think that's a Symphytrichum. Those are cutleaf evening primrose, those are camphor weeds, and that's a Giardia that got over there somehow, so we're leaving that. Looks like the Stokesia's still there, the Seaside Goldenrod's still there. That's the one obedient plant. No common self-heal coming up. And it looks like the Liatris... Oh, no, we have one Liatris regenerating, so that's good. But, yeah, I think Eleanor's got some Penstemon and some Gara that I'm going to probably swap in. Probably going to put the Penstemon over here where the Golden Alexander was. And I'll probably throw the Gara somewhere over there around the phlox, I think, to fill in that gap. But, yeah, I'm growing a lot of butterfly weed from seed. Eleanor's got a bunch as well. We're going to try and fill that back up and maybe move some of that swamp milkweed over here since these are much thinner. And yeah, I'm going to replace the whole fence with 17 gauge electric fence wire the whole way around. I did that in my own garden. It worked pretty well. And I just bought the materials for that, so I gotta go pick it up. And then we're going to take all the old landscape fabric from the cotton plot over there, and we're gonna lay it down in all the alleys and down all the sides of this, and we're going to put about 3-4 yards of cypress mulch on all the landscape fabric the whole way around. And then we're just gonna spray the snot out of anything that comes up in the walkways, and that should hopefully reduce the amount of peripheral colonization we're getting in the beds. And then we're going to be a little bit more judicious with, I think, some metsulfuron and halosulfuron to really knock back the weeds, specifically the blackberry and the yellow nutsedge. We'll be judicious with the halosulfuron. Well, not super judicious because it's very expensive, but we'll try and eliminate as much yellow nutsedge as we possibly can. The metsulfuron should hopefully work a lot better on the southern dewberry, and we'll probably use a little bit of glyphosate in there as well to kill the centipede alongside the metsulfuron. And yeah, once stuff really starts coming in, because at the moment it's really thin and sparse, so this is the perfect time to treat weeds because they're growing really fast. They're stressed from having to, be dormant all winter, and they're also, they're growing really rapidly. So using a systemic herbicide will hit them the hardest, and we'll probably do that with either a bell on a hand sprayer or like dauber or weed wiper, something like that, so that we are like hyper precise and there's no broadcast applications. And hopefully that should hit it hard enough that we can get most of this stuff established, grown up over everything, and hopefully we can then get them self-weeding like how the yarrow is, like how the swamp sunflower is, and like how the rudbeckia and the lanceleaf coreopsis get whenever they come up. I don't think the lanceleaf coreopsis is coming back up. I think it was so thick last year that it has just not germinated yet. So we're going to have to be real careful when we weed that, but it looks like the black-eyed Susan is coming up nice and thick. And hopefully they'll self-weed along with, the hairy leaf cup and the frostweed, although the frostweed did get frosted. Still gotta do a couple little minor service things. I got a leak right there in one of the soaker hoses. I need to flush all of those. I need to pop the end caps and just blow all the crud out of them, because I haven't done that. Mostly just routine maintenance stuff to go, and a couple other small physical improvements, and a couple new plant additions. But we are done for the 2021 season, and is now officially the 2022 season. And hopefully, with all the mulch and the landscape fabric and a little bit more judicious weeding here in the early season, we should be able to get this a little bit more self-sustaining and also a bit purtier. That's the end of this update. I know it lasted like 9 months. No, 7 months. August to March. That's a bit of a stretch, but anywho, it's done now. So yeah, if you like what I'm doing here, go down there, like the video, comment, tell me what other plants I can put in here, and if you want to see the rest of this saga, go down there and subscribe. Until next time, Tom out.